I got a little bit of the royal treatment because I got to get in the taxi and drive around. This time I was riding around in public, and that's quite an experience. Just just riding around and cutting it out and weaving in and out and getting out and. Well, I listen to a wide variety. Of course, a lot of the Afrobeat is based in Nigeria, so I know a lot of those artists. But like SHATTA Wale and King Promise, which those are my jams, and I'm always just searching for new music.
We speak. I don't know what the experience has been so far, but I want to get to my big brother, I'm the unpredictable, who is here, and the angel for in our house. And we have Prof here. No me and on me facing. Yeah.
That would be good.
And the two professors. Also, apart from Professor Mills, or no quality.
I don't know the only professor.
Oh, my God. Let's crown on my room. Anyway, let me get to my big brother. Hi. Good morning, bro.
Good morning, lawyer.
I hope it was from them.
Now, of course, commotion without fear, because I have a lawyer now.
I'm still a student of the law. Anyway, but I hope you are doing very well.
Yeah, very well.
Good.
How about you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for coming through this morning. And to my right is the winner, actually, right?
Yes.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
I just you're doing very well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
How has your journey been so far? How long have you been in Ghana, though?
I've been here now, I'm going to say 8 days. I have a total of 10.
Already?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then you've enjoyed Papa.
Absolutely.
Do you know Papa?
Yeah.
You know what means by Papa? You've enjoyed
Do it well.
Okay.
She's picking up.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, before I get to you, let me speak to Ike. So the last time we had the other guy, the lady and the guy coming.
Yeah, Franklin and
they shared their experiences with us. It was all fun. And he told us that as at that time, the winner herself couldn't make it because of certain arrangements. Finally, she is here.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to bring her to?
Okay. Good morning to everyone. Yeah. As part of our arrangements, we made it clear to the contestants from the beginning that we are going to bring whoever wins here down here to have a look at the place, because every contestant represented one of the regions in Ghana. And then we had a contestant who represented one of the regions that won the whole pageant. And that it is our duty to make sure that we fulfill our promises. And then we decided to bring her down here. Unfortunately, she was tight at the time and couldn't make it, but definitely we rescheduled and then we are here today. She's already started having fun already, going to several places, and then she's speaking the tree as well.
Hey, what's the tree?
So it's been nice. Culturally bridging the gap between America and Africa has been our main aim, and then we actually want to do it and do it big. This is a time to tell everyone out there to make sure that you come back to your roots, where you come from, and then where you are missing a lot of things. On our way, we passed through affordable housing, and then she was like, "Wow!" So I told her, "This is built for workers, teachers," and then she's a teacher herself. And then she was like, "Wow, that's a brilliant idea." So she's already enjoying the system at the moment. And then, so BRAFIE to the world, that was a 2023 one. And then this year we're having 2024 one. Yeah, it's already kicking. And then the main day is on the 28th of September. This year.
The second one in September.
Yes. So the winner had to come in. Have a feel of it, and then let people know that she's getting whatever we told her. Yeah.
Now, what made you go into the competition in the first place?
Well, back in 2021, I had an opportunity to come to Ghana for the first time. And I was able to meet with my partner, Robert, who is a barbershop owner in Koswa. He has a R&R barbershop, and which I am a brand ambassador for. So I loved it so much, but because it was during COVID time, there was really not so much to see. And
Yeah.
I wanted to see the castle. I wanted to go. I love to garden and I love trees, so I wanted to go to see all of the plants and trees, but we didn't have the opportunity to do that. So when I came back, I went back into my classroom daydreaming about how am I going to get back. And so I do a lot of work because on the weekends I also model. So I was in a big show, and I had the opportunity to meet with Ahmad Johnson, who mentioned, "Oh, we have some projects coming up," and we usually get that information. So I saw online where they mentioned that there was a pageant. I'm like, pageant? I'm not doing a pageant. No. I love cakes and I like ice cream, and so I'm not gonna do a pageant.
Okay, you have this mindset that when you talk about pageant, you're looking at
yes, and I represent the plus size possibilities of the curvy lady. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. But I'm known for my walk in the fashion industry, and so I went to an interest meeting, and I'm like, what are the chances that I can actually pull this off and win and go back? So it was exciting. It was a lot to see, a lot to learn. Every introduction to each person that I met, I was like, I think I found my people.
Oh, wow.
So it was very welcoming. In North Carolina, I've been there for about 14 years, but I'm originally from New York. And so it's hard to kind of blend from north to south. And you kind of are outside of everyone. You don't get the chance to kind of really get into the groove in that culture. But when I met, absolutely. But when I met with the Ghanaian community, they were very, very welcome. And I'm like, oh, that's my cousin over there. That's I know this right here. So it felt like home to me.
Yeah, so there was that instant bond.
Instantly. We like to eat. We like to dance to the music. That's all I listen to. I listen to Afrobeat. I'm a piano. That's my music. So absolutely.
I mean, congratulations on winning that one.
Thank you.
You said you've been here for like 8 days.
8 days, yes.
I mean, what's been the experience so far?
Well, the last time I got a little bit of the royal treatment because I got to get in the taxi and drive around. This time I was riding around in public, and that's quite an experience. Just riding around and cutting it out and weaving in and out and getting out and transferring and the ladies running with the sheets put over their heads. But it's interesting. But a lot of that and just a lot of walking. So I'm glad I trained a little bit before I came here, walking and moving around back in the U.S. before I came, because I would have been tired.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
But has it met your expectations so far? I mean, whatever they promised you, the organizers promised you, have you met? Have they actually met those expectations?
Absolutely. Mr. Eric, he has been a just amazing person to work with. And he did a lot of the communications with the different groups. And the Fonte Association, they went above and beyond to really make sure that myself and Franklin was very much prepared for just any and everything. So every opportunity, we had questions, they answered every one of them. And it already felt like we were here. So, they were like, you got this. You're going to take this. We're like, yeah, we got you. Like, we got this. Yes.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
Good morning to Nanaya Okyoku. And Nana is with Menchia. He's a chief. I'm sure you know.
Nanaya,
Yes, good morning to Nanaya Okyoku. He's listening to the show. He's excited about this BRAFIE.
Yeah.
The initiative
It's
and all.
Hey.
Nana, I was sitting there to saying. So when somebody says that to saying, how would you respond?
Yeah.
But you represented the Fanti community, right? So should we speak a bit of Fanti? I mean, me a Fanti, I was
it's hard. It's hard. Let me share. So, the whole experience, we were looking, because there was a talent section, and then there was, your fashion portion. So I'm like, I got that. I can walk. But right before the show, I got hit with a 2-page script to learn the history of Fonte. And so I would hope like, oh my good gracious, what am I going to do? So I had to pull on all of my resources. Thank you, nephew Isaac. Oh my goodness. I really had an opportunity to have the community uplift me and kind of really break it down slowly and get in. So sometimes hearing the words and sometimes the twee and the Fonte is kind of similar. It's just a little twist. So I'm like, I'm trying to learn this all. It does.
I mean, the languages are similar,
Yeah,
just
it is.
different, a little bit of difference and all that. But it's all good to know that you're a part of this and you won a proud winner. That was the first edition, right?
Yeah,
First.
first edition. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, it's going to go down in history as the first ever
Yes.
winner of BRAFIE.
It's a great
Yeah.
feeling.
Amazing. Amazing.
And that's what the husband told her yesterday. That you're going down in the memory lane.
Yeah, the first person to ever win this competition. But I mean, what are you looking forward to doing in Kumasi? I mean, how long is she going to be in Kumasi?
She'll be here for today.
Okay.
And then she has to go back to Accra too, and then visit other centers as well. So today, from here, we'll be running around, give experiences, and then make sure that we go to the share palace as well, and then and then we have a few other interviews that she needs to do. Yes. So today is going to be a busy day because we have to do everything today.
Yes.
She has to taste everything today.
Oh, she said she's ready.
Yeah.
And then we were going to your base, Ice Cafe.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Nothing like fufu. I'm telling you. Yes. Oh, I eat everything. Can't you tell?
I think BRAFIE is a great opportunity for people to get to know much about Ghana. So each contestant is supposed to learn much about the region that you represent. If you represent the Fanti side, Western side, you need to know much about it. And then you become an ambassador in the end. So you have to sell your area, you have to sell your region. You need to know much about it. Come pose like a Fanti. Let people know that you are Fanti. And then in the end, if you are victorious, then you get a chance to come to Ghana and then have a real feel of it, especially those who have never visited this area. And then yesterday, I think when we were driving around, I heard Renee say, "They don't show these places. This is not what they show." Yes. So it kind of gives a different impression outside there. But when they come here, they feel like, no, this is the reality. We need to get here and see the real story. So now we are trying to carry the real story and then project it outside for people to know that what they are seeing out there is not the reality. So we bring in the reality. And then I'm sure later we will get on board the tourism and then
I was going to ask you if the Ministry of Tourism perhaps is supporting this, because I mean this is one of the ways of selling Ghana, and people know that Ghana is beyond what has been shown to several generations. Experiencing the reality is quite different from what people have been seeing and what people have told others or passed on over the years. I'm sure you love music, right?
I love music, yes.
Do you have any favorite musician in Ghana so far?
Well, I listen to a wide variety. Of course, a lot of the Afrobeat is based in Nigeria, so I know a lot of those artists. But like SHATTA Wale and King Promise, which those are my jams. And I'm always just searching for new music when I'm doing my TikToks and my so I really do celebrate the music a whole lot. And I don't need to know the artist name, although I would love to show love to all of them. Thank you all for your great music because it gets into your soul.
But for the female artists, any of them?
Yemi. Thames is okay. Yeah, but I like Yemi. I like her. Yes, I like her very much.
Interesting. So that's her favorite. She loves to listen to everybody. But of course, there are those individuals top notch, top of head, actually come to mind. Well, we are wrapping up for the morning, but what would you tell anyone out there who perhaps wants to be a part of BRAFIE? Because you have experience.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure when it was announced earlier, there were a lot of people who would think, these people, come on. They wouldn't really trust it. But now you've seen it. First runner up and others have been to Ghana, and you have also been to Ghana.
Right.
And for anyone out there who perhaps want to be a part of BRAFIE, what would you tell them?
Do it. Do it and do it blind. Don't worry about it being structured because that's part of the experience. Sometimes we get in and we want things to be planned. We want to know everything. And a lot of it was like, well, when are we going to do this? And so that element of surprise makes you a little nervous because you don't know what to expect. But that's also a part of the culture. You guys have an easy way of getting into things, which I could appreciate because we move so fast in the States. We don't slow down and take the time to appreciate things like culture and the things that are happening day to day. But for myself, I really appreciate learning about the the fabrics, the prints, the
Mhm.
music, the
Mhm.
food, just how it is important and it's an extension of the people.
The people.
So yeah, so it was really cool this time to really live as the locals, not be a tourist,
Yeah.
but to really get that sense of community and family. So I feel like I'm one of you. So thank you so much for welcoming
You are always welcome. We hope
me.
to see you again. Brian,
Absolutely.
what will be your parting words for the morning?
Yeah, I think it will be unimaginable to you to know that all this is not
Mhm.
sponsored.
Mm.
It's really financed by us.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have a single sponsor. And then probably moving on, we will want people to come on board because it's a huge project that we're trying to put
Yeah.
up there, especially with your designer, creative.
Creativity.
Yeah, we will
Mm.
need him on board
Mm.
for some of
Mm.
the stuff that you can
Yeah,
be
they
part
have
of
to
it,
wear
and then
and all
yeah,
that.
and there will be a time that fashion designers like we will have to fly them there to
Mm.
also go and then sew for them
Yeah.
purposely, for
Display
that.
their
Yeah,
stuff and
yes.
all that. Mm.
So they should jump on board. They shouldn't, leave us to hustle and then
When
later,
things start getting
yeah,
better, then they
yeah,
want to
then,
be
then
on
yeah,
board.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
so we are treating everyone to just be part of it, and then you can jump on our social media handles and
Hmm.
also just
Okay.
follow us. There are a lot of things that you need to know
Mm.
about
You care to
BRAFIE.
share the social media
Yeah,
pages so that people can
yeah,
check
it's
it out.
BRAFIE Inc.
Brafia Inc.
Inc. Yeah,
Okay.
BRAFIE Inc.
INC.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
BRAFIE Inc.
Like, click,
Just
share, and follow.
Yeah.
yes. So this year's one is coming on the 28th of September
Mm.
in North Carolina,
Okay.
and then definitely there will be a winner,
Yeah.
Miss BRAFIE and then Mr.
Uh-huh.
Mr.
BRAFIE,
Brafia.
and after that next year those people will be coming down as well.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
much thanks to you. You
Yeah.
did a huge job for us
Yes.
the other time.
Yeah,
Thank
when
Yeah,
you
we
so
came
much for
down,
that.
and
yeah,
YFM is home.
yeah,
Once we hit on Mahoney's door and says, "Oh,
yeah,
let them come. We are
yeah.
good to go."
My
Yeah.
honey.
So big shout out to the general manager for always making this possible as
Yeah.
well. Let me send this birthday shout out again. Happy birthday to our others through being part of a competition that will give them the opportunity so that they can impact their community in diverse ways. And this afternoon, I'm super excited to be sitting with one adorable, sweet, eloquent, intelligent young woman who was part of the Miss Brefie competition or talent hunt for the year 2023 put together by Brefie Incorporated. This is a beauty pageant organized for the diasporans, and this beauty pageant actually teaches our diasporans, the cultures, the Ghanaian cultures across the 16 regions of Ghana. Nana Araba May, otherwise known as Renee May, is my guest this afternoon on Between Hours on Asasi 98.5 and of course on Breathie. We're going to have all the sweet and beautiful conversations about beauty pageants and why she decided to join Miss Breathie 2023. My name is Na Claude Fredil Aben and a pleasure to meet you, Nana Araba May.
That's say why.
Oh, she's speaking English and she already. Oh, that's it. Why?
Right.
Sana
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
What do you think that means? Medase why?
Thank you very much.
Okay, great. There she goes. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Nana, tell me, we were having a conversation before we had to come on set, and you were telling me how you love Ghana and how you're excited about this
Yes.
environment and this country, and how you don't even want to go back
Yes.
to the USA.
Yes.
And I was also telling you that there are a lot of young people in Ghana who look forward to travel
Yes.
to the USA for many good reasons.
Mhm.
Before we come to that point, now I personally would want to know you for myself. So
Absolutely.
tell me about yourself.
Well, back home in the US, I am a teacher.
Mhm.
And also on the weekends, I do brand ambassadorship and plus size, promoting plus size positivity through curvaceous modeling.
Mm.
And so I like to always share a message because as a teacher, I also do adaptive curriculum. So I don't get to do the things that every other teacher gets to do. I get to think outside the box and share things that would be very helpful for my students to find their strength and confidence within themselves. So I have to be a model of that.
Mm.
So it's important to have opportunities, but it's also important to have balance. And that's what I find in Ghana. Like there's a balance of your time, your environment, your space, your culture, and your families. And that's something that we can learn a lot from you guys about.
Now, I know that you were born in New York,
Yes.
born and raised in New York,
Yes.
but at some point you decided to move to North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay, so I haven't been to New York before, but you
Ah,
were born and raised
yes.
in New York.
Yes.
Tell me how the life is like being born and raised in New York and
Mhm.
then moving to North Carolina.
Okay, well, New York is just as busy as Accra.
Okay.
So it's similar. You have access to a lot of different things, and there's a gateway to different cultures and communities. You have so many people just overindulging the area with what they have to offer. But then I was looking for a slower pace because I was raising my children at the time. So going to North Carolina, there was an openness, and the trees literally called to me. And there's a lot of state parks and mountains to hike, which really did come in handy this time because I did get to go to Kakum, and that was really cool that I was a
Yay.
hiker. I
Yay.
needed all the breath that I can stand. But it was really interesting because when I went, I kind of was looking for peace of mind in a different place. My mom actually traveled with me, and then unfortunately, she was murdered there in 2015.
Sad.
So after that experience, because I was her only child, I didn't quite have anybody to vent to and talk to. So I found my comfort hiking into
Mm.
the trees. So as I was walking there, I started posting a lot of my
Mhm.
videos, and they reached out to me about modeling opportunities. And I'm
Wow.
like, really? Me model? I don't know about that. I just like being in the trees, and they were comforting to me. But then I found that it did unlock a lot of my passions, my creativity, my need to show how the trees teach me how to be peace and accepting of myself, and just to share that everywhere that I go.
Now, earlier you were telling me about Kumasi being structured.
Yes.
People know what they are about
Hmm.
and all that.
Yes.
Would you say that there are some similarities between the people of Kumasi and then going back to New York?
Yes. Well, usually when you're from New York, you rep New York. So
Okay.
you have a sense of pride from where you're from. And so I will say, working with the Ghanaians, I was really with the central region. So I
Okay.
represented the Fantis, but I spent a lot of time with the Ashantamen.
Mm.
So they really have a sense of pride for where they come from. So now I understand why, because coming here, you don't hear a lot about Kumasi, but being here, it's amazing. The system and the order to how the roads are, how the buildings are, how, again, the university, how they have things laid out. It has just a sense of order to it that I think keeps a sense of calm.
Great.
So I would encourage anybody to come and see Kumasi for themselves. You will be pleasantly surprised.
Well, now let's talk about Miss Brefie,
Yes.
what you were part of, and
Hmm.
then ultimately you emerged as a winner for the year
Yes.
2023.
Yes.
So, how did you get into the pageant in the
Oh,
first place?
wow. So again, I started out modeling for the Black Theater Festival, and Mr. Ahmad Johnson had seen me there
Mm-hmm.
and loved my walk, and he asked me to walk for him in the Curvy She Show. And so I was looking forward to doing another show with him,
Mm.
but he had said, I'm moving into pageantry. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. So I didn't think about it. I did come and visit Ghana in 2021 on my own, and that was like
Okay.
during the COVID. So a lot of things were kind of shut down. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get a chance to see everything. I just was happy to be here. And
Mm-hmm.
that was my first time taking a trip by myself. I was petrified, I was
Mm.
completely scared.
Mm.
But I always had in my heart, I said, I'm going to go to Africa. Didn't
Great.
know where I was going to go, but I always heard good things about Ghana. So I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So after I had came back, I was like, oh, I really want to see the rest of Ghana. How am I going to get there? And it was almost like God heard my prayer,
Mm-hmm.
because I looked on Facebook. It's like, want to go to Ghana? Join the Mr. and Mrs. BRAFIE pageant. I was like, aha, that's my way back. So I went to the first interest meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just all excited and hungry to have an opportunity to learn more about the culture.
Mm.
Because we, as African Americans there, we are so cut off from culture.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own way of doing things,
That's
yes,
right.
and we move together as a unit, yes. But that sense of community, we haven't had that since the 80s. It's been a
Mm.
long time since we've moved as a unit, as a family.
Mm.
And then that's something that I learned very much so throughout the experience.
Do you remember how many you were? How many ladies were part of the competition?
Yes, I believe we started out with 8 in total, and it was
Okay.
4 and 4. And then as we went along, people's schedules were busy, and your commitment was challenged, but
Mm-hmm.
you had to show up. And every time you had to show up, I think we all were hungry, so we're like, yeah, I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna win, and it was really motivating for us to inspire each other, but we all just enjoyed the experience, so it wasn't too much competitive nature going on, but it was really cool to get with the associations, and that's when you really got to really explore the culture, because meeting with the Fanti Association of Greensboro was so amazing. They had a lot of comedians. I gotta say, we laughed a lot. We laughed a lot.
The
We ate a
Franties will
lot.
always make you laugh.
Yeah,
They always have something to say to make you laugh.
absolutely. We laughed a lot. We ate a lot. But then in between, we talked about the history, and
Okay.
that's when I started as a teacher learning the culture of education and how that started, and exactly where they take it, because we don't hear that as a part of the history worldwide at all.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so at what point did you decide that you were going to represent the people of the Central region?
Mhm.
What about the Central region that attracted you to say, "Hey, I want to be the one representing Central in Miss BRAFIE"?
Well, two reasons. One
Okay.
reason was we got appointed that area, so they chose it for us.
Okay.
But I did have an opportunity to come and visit the first time. And what was really cool about it is because the Fonties have a lot of educators, I felt that it was really appropriate. So, after going to Cape Coast this time around, really seeing the history, I felt like I had a great shot at actually sharing out the history of all the contestants. I think that was my strength, to be able to share that, because it was close to my heart to get that information out.
How easy or difficult was it learning about the cultures of the Central region?
Very difficult.
Very,
Very difficult, because it was a timing issue. So
Okay.
we were each week we were learning different things. So culturally, we were learning how to wrap the cloth. My Braffy mate Franklin Poe, he was learning how to wrap his garment and pour libations. And so, because everything was focused a lot on that, it was like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And they're like, wait, 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 wait. And so it was a week before the pageant, and they're like, here you go. And they handed me a 2-page script. And I said, I know I'm good, but I'm not that good. But I had to learn Fanti in the 5 days and translate it. And so I was hoping to bring honor and respect to that piece, because I know it was a heavy charge, a real tall order to carry, to be able to let everyone there know that yes, there was a dark history, but we're just not going to focus on slavery.
That's
That's
right.
just one part of it.
That's right.
We come from a long, long line of just kings and queens and a great culture, if you choose to accept it.
What was the most difficult thing to have learned about the people of the Central region?
The difficult thing for me is there's such a wealth of what they have to offer, yet that was overlooked for personal gain,
Okay.
for profit, that
Okay.
kind of thing. But they're so educated. They have so many things, and I also realized that if you're going to take over a land, you're not going to go after the weakest of people. So some people just think, okay, slavery, and they just took people, but they didn't take just anybody. They took people who mattered, people who had skills and talents and gifts that can do something somewhere. That's why, to me, I look at it as a kingdom in ruins, not just a desolate area. I don't see it like, I've not once looked at it that way at all. It's full of wealth and lots of talent, believe it or not. I think for me, that's the message I hope to carry. And by the way, I love Prince. So that's another thing that I really, really love. I will come here again and again, because a lot of times trying to dress with the curves that I have, it doesn't complement me well. Sometimes they tell you, okay, you have to put your places here, this here. When I'm wearing Prince, I feel majestic. I feel confident. I feel like myself.
You should say that again, so a lot
Absolutely.
more Ghanaians would understand why they should
Absolutely.
be wearing
And
the
they
Prince.
should. Now that's what's surprising to me. I come here and I see a lot of them trying to dress the American way, and I'm like, why? Because they come here to get this, to market it their way. Why not share your culture this way? This is something that, to me, it gives me a sense of comfort, because I can move the way I need to.
That's right.
It accentuates my curves. It makes me feel super confident. It really does. And no other clothes that I wear make me feel that way. So I wear it proudly when I'm there, and they'll ask me, "Are you Ghanaian?" Absolutely. But I did find out. I did my DNA, and I found out that on my dad's side, my dad is Ghanaian.
Oh, from?
Well, Akan is the area. I'm still digging
Okay.
deeply.
Okay.
So, but my mom is Nigerian as well, so I found that
Wow.
out. So,
Oh, okay. So that
yes.
tells your height.
Uh
I get
huh.
it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay, so let's talk about the night where you had to
Ah.
have your final,
Whew.
the grand finale. What was running through your mind? What was the feeling
Ah.
like?
Well, because of the way that the stage was structured, we did a lot of running up and down the stairs. So I will say that the 2024 contestants are becoming very conditioned and ready because you have to be ready for any and everything that's given to you. But we had it was a lot going on because it was so fast paced.
Mm-hmm,
But I remember they asked the question, what would I do in order to continue to bring people to
mm-hmm,
the BRAFIE pageant? And
mm-hmm,
for me, it was about sharing the history
mm-hmm,
and respecting the ancestors. You know,
mm,
my mom never got the chance to come back and to see Africa. It was a goal of hers to do. But for me, coming back, I feel like I have a duty to share out that whatever they told you about us, don't believe it. Just go and see for yourself. And whatever they told you about the people here, don't believe it. Come feel it for yourself. You'll feel a sense of home.
mm. Were you very convinced that you were going to win?
Well, I was confident that I would carry for the Fonte people. I wanted to represent. For me, it was about upholding the area, the region. I had another competitor who every time we get together, she told me, "That's my crown. That's my seat." I said, "Oh,
What
okay."
was she as curvaceous as you?
Very,
Okay.
very curvaceous, but if you know me and know me well, I don't let those things bother me.
Mm,
I walk through a lot of my challenges, my fears. My walk is my story.
mm-hmm,
So I approach that with full figured fierceness
mm,
every time.
mm,
So I just went in there saying, I can do this.
mm,
And there was a lot of conditions that I had to fight through because I had moved around from place to place. I was working, they were stressing me out. And I had to just block all of that out and just really go for it. I just had in my heart, I said, I really want to go back and I want to do this for the people,
mm,
not just to be a pretty face. It
mm-hmm,
was never that for me. It
mm-hmm.
was about representing us well here and doing the same for them there so they can see. Because so many people are scared to make that move to come. So I wanted to show them it's safe, it's okay, and there's so much that we have to offer each other if we just unify.
So on the nights where your name was mentioned, Mame Nana Araba May, winner for Miss Breakfast
Uh-huh.
2023. Like, what was the feeling like?
I was like this. What? Did you just call my name? I did it for real. I had a friend of mine. Her name is Madeline Maria, and she had called me the night before. She said, "I had a dream that you were going to win," and I
Oh,
said, "Are you serious?"
very spiritual.
Yes, she did, and I was like, "Okay." Like, and she says a lot of things to me, but when she said that, I said, "Okay." She said, "I have to be in the audience." So when I saw her face, I looked out to the audience, and we both looked and cried just at the same time. But it was a great feeling when they sang the national anthem, the Ghanaian national anthem. That's when it was so surreal, and I was like,
Mm.
"I did it! I did it!"
You could still connect to the Ghanaian national anthem.
Yes, it was just so. I don't know it personally, but just because they sang it at the
Mm-hmm.
end once we won, we
Mm-hmm.
sat in the chairs and they sang it, and it was just such a sense of honor, just to feel that. It was so surreal. One of
Mm.
my favorite moments.
And a year on.
Uh huh. Yes. Yes.
When we talk about Miss Burfie, it is your name we mentioned.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's talk about some of the things that, particularly the monumental project
Hmm.
that you're hoping to do or embark on
Hmm.
as far as your title as Miss Burfie is concerned.
Yes.
What are some of the projects that you're looking at embarking on?
Absolutely. Right now, I'm doing a project called UIC, Unity, Inclusion, and Change, which
Okay.
also continues to bridge the gaps between Africans and African Americans on both
Mm-hmm.
sides of the soil. And that's doing different community projects. Right now, what I've done is I've written a book, and
Oh.
it's called Let Her Be Great, the story of the BRAFIE Queen. And the proceeds for that book goes to support the garden. There's a community garden here in Koswa that I've actually started.
You mean Kaswa?
Kaswa, excuse
Okay.
me. Kaswa.
Now you tell me about Ghana, being in Ghana and how refreshing it
Yes.
is. Um, do you see a change? there is an experiential knowledge. When you are not in Ghana, there's a certain perception that you have about Africa and Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come and experience a country, there is also another perception that you have about
Yes.
the country. So there are a lot of people who are outside Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, they hear a lot of negative stories and news about the country. You have come to experience Ghana.
Yes.
What is your take home?
From the first time that I seen Ghana, for me, it's the slowing down to enjoy life. That
Mm,
was the first impression I had. It's not often that I get to sit still and really enjoy it. You have to kind of take that time when you're in America. They're very clean, very
mm,
very clean. Um, the area might not be as modernized as over there, but as a people, I feel like they're very clean. They have a specific way of eating,
mm-hmm,
which is very difficult when you're not used to it. Just greeting and respect for one another. And I just think those kind of things, you can't define people by buildings,
mm,
and sometimes I think that's the misconceptions of
mm-hmm,
how many amenities do you have? Oh, that makes your worth. It doesn't. I do feel like the wealth is within the culture, within how you treat each other, how you greet each other, and those little pieces of histories that, like I said, we don't really have so much of.
mm,
But then now coming to Kumasi really did change my outlook because, like I said, as a teacher, I don't feel sometimes in where I come from that they really celebrate educators the way that they do here. Going to the campus and seeing the different housing where they put the lecturers, I'm like, I can live there. I can
mm,
live there, and it
mm,
gave me a sense of pride to be an educator in that moment. But I had to leave my own soil to come here to feel that. So I think some people would be surprised to see that it is a big thing to go off the college. It is big there too, but it's like, he went off to college.
mm-hmm,
You're not celebrated so much, not so much in the. It's like, oh, he did it, he made it. That's great. What you gonna do now? So it's what's next, what's next. But you don't get to sit in that moment and say, you know what, you really did make a difference. You really did something good.
mm. You're in the space of education
Yes.
and coming to Ghana to experience and see some of the things that we do as far as our education is concerned. Would you say that we're doing a lot of things right? Would you say that there's more room for improvement?
I think everywhere with education, there's always room for improvement. I
Truth.
think as we modernize as a society in general, it's going to be harder and harder to try to live in a world amongst technology because it becomes you become complacent
Mm-hmm.
and you think that the things of the past no longer count. So
Mm,
that's when it's going to be really important to uphold tradition and really hold on to those things that you have. Just keep them in your tool belt. Don't throw them away. But I think that having a good environment, your environment, and that's something that I use in school as well. Your environmental setup really can determine the way that you learn. And if you don't have that proper setup, then how could you learn? You know, it damages your thoughts
yeah,
process sometimes.
that's right. Yeah. So Miss Burfey has brought you to Ghana and you're experiencing
Hmm.
Ghana. You don't want to go back.
No, I do not.
You don't.
I do
Like
not.
seriously, you
I
don't want to.
seriously do not want to go back.
Oh, we can keep you. We
You
can give
can.
you
You
a
absolutely
place.
can. Absolutely. Give me some more
We
wache,
will.
some more fufu. I probably won't fit in my dress anymore, but
What's
I
your
really
favorite
love.
Ghanaian dish so
Oh,
far?
wache,
Wache.
wache. I have songs about it and everything. I love wache. I love tilapia. I
Oh,
love banku. I like
I
that too. I
see.
like fufu. It's delicious.
Great,
Mm.
great. So those who are looking for it to be part of Miss Birthday
Hmm.
2024,
Yes.
what's the message for them?
Trust the process, embrace the process. I know as African Americans, we're used to things being so planned out and what's next. And that I think was the most difficult part of the BRAFIE experience
Mm,
was trusting to let go of what you already know to embrace what you don't know.
mm,
So you're like, please give me a schedule. Please tell me what I got to do. And they're like, wait, wait, wait. And you get frustrated because you're like, well, I want to have a good advantage. I need to know everything now. But the way that both Ahmad and Mr. Eric allowed it to unfold, it was beautiful when you look back and you're like, wow, I really was on a journey to not just learning about the culture, but also how you operate yourself. There's a lot of decisions that I made about branding and aligning myself with different
mm-hmm,
products
mm-hmm,
that if they don't serve me, I don't need to be a part of it. But
mm,
if it's about elevating the people that I'm aspiring to, whether it's my own community or the Ghanaian community. That's where I want to align myself with. So I dedicated my time. Not only now, it's my part of my life.
Mm.
So
So, what would be the adjective to describe the BRAFIE brand? That's difficult.
absolutely thrilling, like amazing. There was not one negative thing I can say about it.
Mm.
Just truly, I think every region wanted to win.
Mhm.
Every region wanted to win. So, but it's funny, even though we had that it was healthy competition. We still sat down and ate together and still cheer each other on. Like I know this year we have three contestants that are coming back from last year because
Okay.
they're still determined to win.
Mm-hmm.
But they had because they didn't want to give them an unfair advantage, they had to switch. And now they have to represent different regions. So they're
Mm.
learning about other areas.
Yes.
So I get to be behind the scenes and actually watch them grow and capture the footage because I love taking pictures of all of this so I can share with them how good they're doing. Because sometimes everybody needs a confidence booster. They
Mm-hmm.
may not see it from their perspective, but now that I've gone through the competition and I get to look back, I'm like, you're doing really well. And a lot of the contestants from last year that came back, their growth is
Mm-hmm.
really, really showing now.
Mm-hmm.
They walk confidently now.
Mm-hmm.
They wear the cloth more. They
Mm-hmm.
eat the food more. So
Mm-hmm.
they're actually serving as like the big brothers. They don't know it yet, but they're serving like the big brothers and sisters to the new contestants, and they're just as hungry.
If you had the opportunity to groom someone to be a part of the BRAFIE competition, your context, would you?
I would absolutely
You
in a heartbeat.
gladly will.
Absolutely in a
Mm,
heartbeat.
mm. But
Absolutely.
are there plans like that?
Absolutely. I told them they're stuck with me. They are stuck with me. I actually went to one of their boot camps. They had a boot camp and rehearsal, and they were dancing, and I'm in the corner trying to learn to dance. I said, I could be an understudy if you need me to be. But yeah, I get to, like I said, be behind the scenes and watch how BRAFIE is growing. And if you haven't, please like, click, and share and follow BRAFIE Inc. We are growing exponentially, and this will take over for a while. I know it's in North Carolina right now, but a lot of the different states have interest.
Mm. So they just have to go on Facebook,
Facebook, yes,
YouTube,
yes.
Instagram,
Instagram,
X,
possibly.
and then they type BRAFIE Inc.
BRAFIE Inc.
INC,
INC.
and then
Period.
they're on.
They're on.
Great. Such a pleasure talking to Miss BRAFIE 2023, Renee May, Nana Araba May. Nana, thank you so much for talking to us on Between Hours and, of course, on BRAFIE. Pleasure hanging out with you right from the Sewa Ampim Gardens here at the Menchia Palace. My name is Claude Fritzl Aben.
Madase, why?
As